Morning, everyone. We would like to welcome our defending champion, Max Homa, to the Media Center here at the Genesis Invitational. Max, as you're coming back here, what's it like after now entering as defending champion and a place that you've been coming to as a kid?
Yeah, it's bizarre. Have, a framed picture and glove and ball signed in the locker room is weird. All of it's very surreal. I would have loved coming back here no matter what the year, what the day, even if it was just a Wednesday in the middle of the summer. I feel lucky to come to Riviera, but coming back as defending champion, knowing what happened last year feels very fake, but I'm very appreciative, and it's cool to be back.
Are there any specific moments that came to mind as you're entering the course from your playoff win?
Yeah, it was actually after the playoff. We hung around, did some pictures, got to talk to Tiger Woods, which was cool. And then my favorite memory, for whatever reason, is everyone had kind of left. Obviously, there was no fans, so it was like just empty in general. But everyone had left, and Joe and I were grabbing my last couple of things at the locker and walking up to the parking lot to leave. And it was just us two, and for whatever reason, that felt very cool. Two kids from up the road leaving, felt like the last people leaving a golf tournament where we, as Jamie Mulligan, famous coach out here, says, he always asks me, who'd you beat? And you say, I beat everybody. That's what it felt like. We were the last people at the golf course at our favorite place to play on the PGA Tour. And, I don't know, that was my favorite part of the day, honestly.
And what's it like this being your home event, basically? It seemed like there would be a lot more friends and family coming along this week. Yeah,
it's cool, actually. This was one time probably I don't feel burdened with ticket requests. I'd like, especially given what happened last year, I'd like that people are going to be able to be back out, or my friends and family. It definitely, I feel like last year might have helped a little bit that my friends and family weren't out. It's still, it's a lot of pressure at times, and you do a lot of extra things. But this year, I'm very happy they're going to be here. To kind of get to enjoy what had happened last year. I'm playing in a group that I don't typically play in on a Thursday. So that's I think they'll have a lot of fun. And like I said, this event's always cool. I always feel special with the people who, I'll run into random friends from high school who come out. And that's interesting. So yeah, getting to know my parents, my sister, my friends Zach, Josh, Kirk, and Steven and Sarah are all coming out. Kyle and Michelle, my little crew, they get to be here this year. I think that's going to be really fun for everyone involved.
Perfect. With that, we'll open up to questions with the media. If you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand, and we will get a mic over to you. We'll open up with Dan.
Hey, Max. In the last couple of years, your life has changed considerably with the win in Quail Hollow and then the win here and winning again. And you've spoken about not wanting to be just the Twitter guy, the guy who's known for winning golf tournaments. Has that been a difficult shift for you to make mentally? You said just a minute ago that it kind of feels fake, but how are you handling that shift of becoming one of the guys out here who's trying to win every week and not just be known for something else?
Yeah, I would say, I was actually talking about this yesterday, last night with somebody, because they asked me the same question, man, your life's really changed, and I would say that my life hasn't changed at all. I just make a bit more money, and I actually flirt with winning a little bit more, but my life, which in a good way, hasn't changed. Same wife, same dog, we do the same stuff every week. It hasn't really changed a whole lot, but and my grind to get better hasn't changed at all. It's just that the spots I'm in come Sunday are significantly different than the spots I was in come Friday 3 years ago, so I know it's kind of maybe a dumb way to answer it, but the fun part is I don't feel any different. I feel like I'm still pursuing getting better, and I guess it's one of those things where if I sat back at times and thought about how different life is than 2.5 years ago, I would think, man, that is crazy. But, we play so much golf out here, and I think we're all, for the most part, obsessed with golf that every day just feels it's almost like Groundhog Day, and it's just, I don't know, I'm probably not articulating the end of this right, but it's just, where I am in the world golf ranking and the FedEx Cup and on the leaderboard is changing, but it's like at least for me, I prepared to be there. So it's just now it's like, okay, it's becoming more routine is probably the biggest difference. Last week in the crazy setting, got to third place and I felt really, really calm. And I would say that the difference would be in 2019, I would have been I would have been a lot like, holy cow, this is foreign. If that part feels the least foreign now, but everything else has been nice because I don't feel like it's changed. I'm lucky in that way.
Though, I mean, you've spoken about gratitude in the past. Is it tricky you want to appreciate what you've accomplished, but still not be satisfied? How do you balance those two?
It's the hardest thing, at least I've found in like learning about all this stuff or reading about all this stuff about like happiness and gratitude in this, because everybody, at least in this, I can only speak for my life, but in this life is competitive, and like I'm raised to step on someone's throat and win at all, costs and whatever. And now it's like I'm all supposed to just be happy for the opportunity. So there's a blend, but I think it comes from, there's a great book called The 7 Spiritual Laws to Success, and one of them is the law of detachment. And when you are when you pretty much are okay with whatever happens and you can only just put in what you can put in and you control what you can control, if you can get peace through that, then the rest of it actually just becomes its own competition, its own fun. So am I grateful last week that I got 14th? I was grateful that I got to be in the mix and you pick little spots. Am I happy I got 14th? No, but I'm grateful for how fun that event was and how I got to be in that mix and how things I'm working on are kind of piecing together. So you have to really play with it. But I would say that's the most complicated part of it, because at times, I'm like, man, how do you be grateful for something when you're pissed about it? But I don't know. I'll get back to you maybe in 10 years when I start to figure that out.
We'll go in the front with Bob.
Max, you referenced the photos with Tiger and obviously getting to talk with him. I'm sure it was a big thrill to win his tournament. I'm just wondering, did one of the perks with that mean you feel the ability to text him or reach out to him whenever you want? Has that happened at all? I mean, have you had any communication with him?
I've had minimal communication. I don't think I would ever get to the point where I would just text him ever. But yeah, I mean, I went and did his, the TGR Foundation has been great, and I've done a couple things with them. Lately, I went up to Monterey during the CJ Cup and did his event up there and sat on the third hole. He actually owed me a phone call from that, and he did call me because I sat on that tee for 6 hours, and it was blowing like 40 miles an hour. I thought my face was going to rip off. So he called me the next day, and that was first time he had ever called me or anything like that, and that was really cool. I was very taken aback. But no, I did not, I did not then text him on a daily regiment. But yeah, so it's been cool. But just, having Tiger's name attached to our home tournament was really awesome. Because obviously this event means a lot to us. But then to win the thing was even more bizarre. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, I think he knows who I am now. So we'll say hi a bit more. But he's always been really cool to me. All jokes aside, he's been really nice. He came up to me right after I won Wells Fargo, the next event we both played in. Didn't need to do that. We ended up chatting a little bit that week. And yeah, just good to see him, playing the PNC championship with Charlie. That was awesome, and hopefully he'll get back out here. But either way, just the fact that he's going to be affiliated with an event that means so much to me is very cool.
We have Kira in the back.
Hi, Max. You mentioned last year some great Lacey-isms, some advice that she gave you. I think it was to forgive quickly. Has she given you any other great advice over the past year since then? And what kind of Lacey-isms are you working on as you go into this week?
She gives me 3 a week, and they're typically not applicable. I think I mentioned last year, she tells me to putt smooth every day. Got no clue what that means. But somehow it makes a little bit of sense. But she's got a highlight reel of great things. And the opposite of great. Last week, right after I got off the golf course, I was pretty bummed out. She called me and said, "Would you like my critiques now or later?" I was like, "Well, neither, but now I guess." But she just has a lot of great things. But that forgive quickly was, definitely become the most popular. I didn't think people would take so much interest in that, but that's, you know, she's awesome. She's thoughtful, she's smart, and she really helps me a lot. Even when she does critique me at times I don't want to be critiqued, that, you know, helps me toughen up and grow up. But that one was big because it was just super. Even if the advice wasn't great, the fact that she said it that morning and somehow it actually was going to apply later that day was very bizarre. So it felt kind of like, I don't like to do the whole fate thing, but it felt, you know, the Ben Crenshaw, you know, I got a good feeling, but I got that a little bit. And then, and just the actual info, it's important every day for every single person in here. I'm sure you guys get annoyed at yourself. I was just getting annoyed at myself down there on the range chipping. So you have to kind of be able to let things kind of flow off your back and just get back to work and keep moving forward. So Lacey has a lot of Laceyisms. I should probably write those down from now on. I just didn't think people thought it was as comical as I did, but I guess that's her for you.
And then just to follow up on what you said earlier about that conversation with Tiger, what is that conversation like? Are you asking him for specific advice on things? Is he just giving you advice? You know, walk us through that conversation.
I'm a big listener when Tiger talks. I'm not going to bug him. But yeah, he just called me to tell me thanks for doing the event. And then I thought that was going to be it. And I guess it's just a testament to him. But he kept talking and just, you know, saying, oh, you know, how are the guys out there? You know, he's been around them all a bunch. And I was laughing. There's, you know, a few guys probably overserved, a few kind of weirder guys, a few awesome guys, you know, kind of like going through that. And then I told him about the shot. You know, I had like 110 yards and I did a 600. It was so windy. And he was, you know, joking about that, the fact that I stood there for like 6 hours and 15 minutes. But who's counting to meet every single person from the Pro-Am. But so it's just cool. You know, I don't have much of a relationship with him, obviously, like not a ton of us do. Justin Thomas, Ricky, some of those guys obviously have been famously gotten to be friendly with him, and I don't expect to be friends with Tiger Woods. But like just the little interactions are cool, I think, you know, not to seem like super corny, but just when you're growing up, like I think golf is probably the only sport I could think of where you end up competing against your like idols and heroes. I think usually they phase out. I mean, I was 6 years old when I first heard Tiger Woods, and I'm, you know, still playing against him. I'm still around him. I think that's rare. I mean, Vince Carter played in NBA. I mean, he played against a few people, but for the most part, you don't get to play against your heroes and idols. So just anytime you interact with him, it just feels cool. I don't think it would ever get like old. I don't think I'd get used to it. But you know, he's been really gracious with his time, especially ever since you know, I won his event. So it's been cool.
We're going to go over here in the back corner.
Max, just kind of the state of your game this year compared to the state of your game last year when you came into this event.
Very similar results. Last year, right before I got here, I got 6th or 7th, I think. So last week was kind of similar. I mean, I got 14th, but I was in the mix, I guess. And then the actual game feels a little bit better. Been putting it a lot better, I guess, than this time last year. You know, I've been working with Mark Blackburn for a little over a year now, and it's been so interesting because last year, this time, we were 3 months in, and it felt like it was really clicking. And you add another year to that, and it starts to become like part of your DNA a little bit. Excuse me. So that part's fun. But yeah, the game has been, honestly, this has been everyone goes through slight ebbs and flows, but my flows have been a lot, the dispersion's a lot smaller. So yeah, game feels nice. I mean, I don't want to have super high expectations coming back and love to win. I'm going to try to win, but it's easy to get out here and that's all you're kind of thinking about after, you know, a year later. But as far as the actual physical parts of the golf game, I would imagine I'm better than I was last year. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to win, but I feel like if I have a 3-footer to win this year, I'm probably a little bit more ready for it than I was last time.
Then we're going to go in the back with Matt.
Max, we've heard a couple of guys say that they absolutely love playing in this tournament, love this course. Obviously for you, family and friends contribute to that a little bit, but can you just talk about this event and what makes it so special?
Yeah, the golf course it's amazing. I think it's the best golf course we play all year. It's my favorite golf course in the world, and I think a lot of people feel similarly. There's not any tricks to it. There's no water. There's even very little out of bounds, and it points you where you need to go, and you just got to figure out if you can be ready for that test. And I think people really appreciate that. I don't think that you have to be long to win here. I don't think you need to be anything in particular to win here. I think you can just go out and win if you play your great week of golf. And I think that's why guys really love it. The crowds also are great. The history of this event is great. The amphitheater around 18 is great. So I just think it has a lot of little things that it all kind of culminates to one where people really appreciate being here, and for one, and then two, I just think that the golf course stands up to a lot of expectations, and then add to the fact that now Tiger is involved. I just feel like it was already going to be a big deal for everybody, but you add that name to it, and it blows up extremely. And I think Genesis has done a great job ever since they've come in through here, because even the coloring and the stands, the infrastructure it feels built up and better in the last 3-4 years, and I think that's been a big boost too.
We're going to go over here on the left with Adam.
Max, how has your strategy playing number 10 changed from when you first played it back in the day to how you plan to play it this week?
I used to think that there was an option to lay up, and there's an option, sorry, but there isn't. You don't. It's one of the most interesting holes. I talk about it all the time. I'm still not sure if it's the best hole in the world or the worst, but it's my favorite, if that makes sense. I always thought that a short par 4 needs to have you should have a thought as a professional golfer to lay up, and I really don't think very many people do. I think the numbers are getting lower and lower. Ever since analytics came out, we played the national championship here in 2012, and we got to see some shot link numbers, I guess. And it was just so interesting how the splits of going for it and laying up, how going for it was lower, at least at the years we saw. So I haven't really changed my strategy. It's always kind of been the same. Take it at the tree. I hit it behind last year in the playoff, and I just aim at that and try to cut it and just keep it left of the pin, always left of the pin. Left of the bunker, actually, the front right greenside bunker. So it hasn't changed a lot. Analytics has really just helped to confirm, I guess, what we all try to do. But it's an interesting hole because, like I said, I love it. I love chaos in golf at times. I love you just kind of hit it and then you have to take what happens. Last year in the playoff was kind of the perfect explanation to that. Tony and I hit the exact same tee shot. I've watched it 5 times. It's funny. My ball's a foot left to his in the air. We all said good shot to both, and his bounces straight. Mine was a little left to his, so it got a little more of a left bounce, and mine gets pinned behind a tree, and he's sitting kind of in the quote unquote garden spot. And it was weird getting up to that shot because I was thinking about how I tell everybody how I love this hole, even though not everybody knows if it's a great architectural hole, but that's the fun part of golf. Not everything needs to be perfect. You should have a little chaos. So I hit it at the trees and then just see what happens. It's very bizarre, but I love it.
One more, if you don't mind. Aaron Beverly is the Charlie Sifford exemption this year. You know how hard it is to get out here. What advice do you have for a player like him who's trying to make it?
Yeah, I played with him yesterday. He doesn't need a lot of advice. He's really good. He has a beautiful golf swing. He's a really nice kid. He's got a lot of speed. I don't know if I might not be the right person to give the advice. It's taken me 4 times to stay out here for a while. But there's the easy one, which is just to enjoy it and be appreciative for what you're getting to do, because win or lose, this is a great opportunity. But as far as the success goes, you just got to work hard. I've always believed in that. I'm sure he believes in that. Most people out here believe in it. But you look up and down this range week to week, there's guys, VJ, when I first came out, VJ was pushing 50, and he was working harder than everybody. And if you want to compete with these guys who have been out here Aaron's 27. I'm 4 years older than him. I can promise you that I have worked quite hard, and I have 4 more years on him. So he's going to have to work extra hard if he's going to catch up to that, and so on. So that's always been my outlook on my progression through this game. And so when I meet younger people, if they want advice, that's kind of what I give them. Enjoy what you're doing, be appreciative for it, and then go work for it, because it will not be here if you're not doing that. They will take it from you pretty quickly. We don't get a lot of guarantees.
And we're going to go over to the right side of the room.
Yeah, Max, obviously a lot of chatter about breakaway golf leagues this week, and I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on the state of the PGA Tour or your own personal allegiance.
My allegiance is to the PGA Tour. Yeah, I don't know. This stuff's crazy. I, for one, have not signed an NDA, nor have I talked to anybody who would offer me an NDA. So I don't know anything. It's been fun reading all of your guys' articles and piecing them together. Heard one yesterday that someone said 17 people have signed, and somebody else said they haven't heard anybody. So I guess that's kind of telling of what's going on. We think about it a lot, talk about it a lot. It's an interesting dynamic we've got going. I love the PGA Tour. Driving up to this golf course with memories of winning a golf tournament that Tiger Woods handed me a trophy. They don't have that in a breakaway league. Money's cool. People out here, some people play for the money, some people play for the love of it, I guess, the enjoyment of the successes. But I can promise you right now that the furthest thing from my mind, and first thing from anyone's question really, is when I won this golf tournament last year, I made the most money I've ever made in one lump, $1.6 something million. And that is not the part that I remember. So that's my take on it. I'm not saying that these leagues couldn't be great and things may change, but my point is that everything through this golf tournament that has made me get the chills as I talk about it and get the chills as I drive up here and think, what the hell, when I see my picture on things out on the golf course that I grew up to love, I would not be getting that anywhere else. So that's my allegiance, I guess.
And in the front here with Alex.
Yeah, Max, so that being said, does the money not matter to you? Is that what you're saying?
No, money matters. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm just saying that no one's offered me $1 to play the thing. So at this point in my, when I think about what makes me happy at the moment, money makes me comfortable. It hasn't made me happy. When I come to an event like this, it even puts more perspective into how much I've enjoyed playing on the PGA Tour. Never say never to things. And again, I know nothing. No one's told me. I don't even know. I know there's going to be some captains and teams. I don't know anything past that. So it's really hard to formulate an opinion about something that you know nearly nothing about. But what I guess my point is, what I do know about is the PGA Tour. I played it for a little over a handful of years, and it's created some really awesome memories for me. So at the moment, I would say I'm pretty biased. I very much enjoy playing out here. I think they've done a great job of giving us the opportunity to compete for something we love. And if you do love money too, we play for a lot of that out here too, so it's not so bad.
One last thing. So I mentioned when you came in, you looked like a NASCAR car. How many of those logos or companies or sponsorships are new from last year?
Three of them, I guess. I got probably 5 new ones. Got a couple I do on social media. Fortnite's event I won a few months ago. Started working with them. ADP's new, 5'9's new. Joe has Elijah Craig on his. So we got them all. We're content creators now and golfers.
Thank you.
Sometimes.
And we're going to finish up here with Bob.
Max, I just want to ask another question about Tiger. I mean, obviously it was only a couple days after your win that everything changed. You call what you thought when you first heard about it, and just maybe some of the emotions that were going through your mind and other players even in those couple of days.
It was super eerie. It was the next day. I flew to Florida, landed, had a bunch of text messages, which I didn't think was abnormal just because of what had happened the day prior, and then finding out what happened. And at that point, it was very new, so we didn't know if he was okay or anything. It was eerie. It was the exact same feeling I felt like with the Kobe Bryant news, which was like about a year prior, which was just super bizarre. It's very, this one was definitely closer to home, but it's just, like, not to get too deep, but like the mortality of your entertainment heroes, I guess. You know, everyone grew up at least watching a show or something where that, you know, playing for me it's sports, like, and you just think, oh, that person's just always going to be there. There's just no thought of why they wouldn't be. Maybe they won't be playing anymore, but they'll be there. And then when that went away with the Kobe thing, it was super bizarre. And the Tiger is much, like I said, much closer to home. And it was very weird. I mean, obviously it isn't about me, but I was thinking about the fact that that was the first time we like hung out, kind of. Like, I had the coolest moment of my life, and he was a part of it. And then the next day I thought he might not be here anymore. That was just a weird concept to wrap my mind around. Again, it's the least important part of it, but that's just where my head went. And it was just it was very eerie, but no surprise to any. Tiger's doing fine. He's just, if there might be a person who's immortal, I think it's him. He personifies hard work and kind of that never give up attitude. So I think everybody out there is just happy he's, you know, back to moving around and seems to be doing pretty well. And if the golf thing happened, that'd be cool. But I think he's done enough for the game. If he doesn't ever want to hit another golf shot, he's done plenty for all of us.
Thank you. Appreciate you taking the time, and best of luck this week, Max.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.